Auden was a man who lived during the early to mid-20th century, a period of great political and societal turmoil for the world. Though he was born in Birmingham, England, he later moved to America to avoid the beginning of World War II. In the US, he met Chester Kalman, and they became lifelong partners. Editor's note: although Kalman and Auden were gay and had shared many moments, in 1941 Chester revealed to Auden that he didn't want anything serious, and they eventually just became friends. Yet they did live in the same house together until Auden died, so... Now, the time that Auden was writing his poems was a time of great political polarization for the world. Fascism and communism were rapidly rising in most nations, and authoritarian leaders such as Mussolini, Stalin, Hitler, and Franco had gained power in their country's government and were quickly centralizing that power towards themselves. Extremist leaders were also gaining power in other countries as well. Woodrow Wilson was the American president during World War I and was also centralizing power and fighting against civil rights. Churchill also gained power in Britain and had been doing the same things as Wilson. Despite this, left-leaning thought had begun to become more popular. Before Woodrow Wilson, Teddy Roosevelt and William Taft had been in power in America and had been making a lot of reforms in the country. After World War II ended, Britain voted out Churchill in a landslide and put in Robert Eden, one of the most progressive prime ministers in Britain's history. Thought groups like the Frankfurt School had been made. Equal rights movements had won key victories in many different fields. And as Karl Marx would put it, there was a spectre haunting Europe. This coincided with the modernist movement's rise to popularity. Modernism aimed to overthrow the traditional ideas of art and literature and replace them with ideas that suited the new times that the world found itself in. Modernism fought against the elitism of its preceding movements and aimed at showing the world in a clear, everyday way that common people could relate to. Auden was one of these modernists. Auden published his first collection of poems in 1930 called Poems. I guess his creativity didn't extend to his titles, and that jump-started his poetic career. His works have been described as anti-romantic, a rejection of a previous movement's focus on emotion and glory and trying to make things feel better. Auden's work was most purposely quite unhappy and grim, showing the darkness in his society and the evil that he sees. His poems often achieve this through political messaging, as he was influenced by the works of Karl Marx and Sigmund Freud. Yet he also displayed aspects of other political ideas, such as pacifism and globalism. Auden wrote to a world of massive change and aimed at making sense of those insane times. And I wonder whether that is something we can do as well. His context and our context are very similar. Rise of fascism and authoritarianism, verge of political war, the strengthening of political polarization. And, of course, there is a spectre haunting Europe.